Hi, I'm Ryan Nickel, CTO at DSA Ocean, and today I want to talk about doing sensitivity studies on ship motion prediction, seakeeping, maneuvering analysis with the ProteusDS ShipMo3D toolset. So I wanted to make this video because on a sensitivity study on a major project parameter is much more straightforward to do by making a copy of the project and just go through that process. A sensitivity study, there's a different video on changing things like appendages, like stabilizer fins or anti-roll tanks or even roll inertia. That's easy to do. You can do that within a project. You don't need to necessarily make a copy of the project for that. But if you want to do something like change the hull mesh slightly, change the vertical CG or trim or anything like that, it's way better to just make a copy of the folder and set up a different project. Otherwise, you're going to get really confused about which data files you're working with, and I wanted to just demonstrate what that looks like. So we're going to use the generic yacht 65 meter project as an example. So you can see I've got it open here. This is one of the publicly available sample files that we have, sample projects for you. You can see there's 3 so far in the generic yacht series with 65 meter. And yeah, just for the sake of argument, what I'm going to do is make a sensitivity study on the height of CG above baseline. So what we'll do is we'll go to make a copy of the folder in Windows Explorer, and I'm going to rename this VCG2. And so if you look inside here, you see it's got a copy of all the same files in there, right? Now, this is the part that's a little tricky. If you look at the original project, you'll see we have the project folder directory, and then there's all the applications, panel hull, rad diff, all these things. They're pointing to specific data folders, and they're all referenced with that original folder. So that's what I want to be careful about when we're setting up a copy of the project. So we'll open up another ShipMo3D application here. We go to the sample projects folder, generic yacht, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to open the project folder in the new copied folder. Now you can see right away it says, hey, we need to change the project to point to the folder that it's actually in, but it only does that for the main project folder here. So if you look on the main project folder here, you'll see we have generic yacht, and then it's pointing to that actual folder location. But here's the tricky part. It's all the stuff that you copied, it's still pointing back to that original folder location. So the easiest way to deal with this is just go through all the application data files and exclude them, and then we're going to add the ones in the copied folder so we don't get confused. If you don't do that, you're going to get in a real muddle because as data changes in the other project, like it's going to start affecting the stuff that you're doing in here. It's really easy to get confused. So, and yeah, so we said we would do a different VCG value, so maybe we'll just sort of play with this and put the VCG a little bit higher at 4.2. Now what you do is instead of going new data, you go add existing data, and we're just go through the same process of adding all the files together. So we have panel hull for 65 meter. Now look at the folder location. Pay extra close attention to that. Yeah, that's in the copied folder. And it says, hey, there's some files in here. We'll need to change where that location is. It's talking about this folder location saved in the panel hull file that you're working with. Now you do have to be really careful again to go through each section that's referencing data files. You'll see the hull file is still referencing the original folder location. I do recommend you make sure you take a look at and use the copied values just to keep everything totally squared away. You don't necessarily need to rerun it, but you can. And it's going to produce a new out file that's in that same folder. I will go add existing data, panel lid. If you are, let's go back, pause. Because we're loading existing data, it doesn't necessarily overwrite the new VCG value, so you will need to do that and rerun it. And this is kind of a safety measure, so add existing data, panel lid. And we're still looking at the original folder. That's great. It's giving you those same comments about, hey, watch out, we're changing the folder. So you can see this is the working directory that we're in. You do adjust that fundamental parameter and make sure that we're in the right location. You can see things are updating there. We'll run it again. So each file it's going to save those change parameters. So you do need to rerun it. Add existing data, rad diff. So rad diff is tricky because this can take a while. Now again, we got to make sure we're loading all the data files in that new copied folder. This one will take a while to recalculate. Even if you want to play with some of the parameters like frequencies or speeds, you got to rerun it. You can always run more of these than you really need, and then like more frequency ranges, more speeds. It's going to take longer to calculate all that stuff in the first place, but later on you don't need to recalculate it, so that's kind of good. If you do change the fundamental parameters, VCG or draft and midships, it does mean you have to recalculate all these values. Anyway, I'm gonna pause it here. I'm not gonna trigger a recalculation here, but just to show you again, add existing data. We'll go to build ship. Yes, and we'll change that to 4.2. I do this in here. Yep, I did it in rad diff, and we'll need to pick. Now, the radiation to diffraction, this is an older file it's not referencing the 4.2 changed value, so we'll have to, normally we would go through the recalculation process, but really I just wanted to highlight what that kind of looks like. So we've gone all the way up to build ship. In theory, we've run our rad diff already, and we continue to go through looking at ckeep regular and treat these things in the same way. And this way, you've got a completely different data set you're working with. It makes it cut and dry about the ship motion performance of a sensitivity study on a major change like VCG or trim or whatever, and it keeps things really organized and it helps you stay away from confusion. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that sort of lays out the process of making a sensitivity study. And yeah, if you like the video, be sure to like it and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you catch new videos when they come out. All right, thanks for watching.